In the beginning of this century, maybe a little before as well, I think it has to do with the technical development, but it also, I think, has to do with a lot of people who want to make documentaries and not fiction, because they can see that they have the opportunity to express themselves in an easier way than if they go for fiction. And I think there's a popularity now, at least, all over for documentaries. And I have noticed that I haven't had time to go there yet, but that you have a lot of school children coming to watch films also. And I think that's where it should start. Sit down and watch, so it's not only at home in front of the computer or television screen. There's a boom. And that means that there are more bad films, but there are also more good films. And if we are talking about this part of the world, I would say that I think that you said Eastern Europe. Yes, I think that for instance, the IDF Institute of Documentary Film in Prague, they started around that time as well. It comes down to technical development. More people can make films for less money. And the second thing is that there's an audience. I think it's a golden age in the way that people dare to do things that they didn't dare 20 years ago, where documentaries were very informative, the way they were made were mostly observational documentary. And then came a period of observational documentary influenced by television, meaning a lot of interviews, voiceover, this kind of thing. And it seems like that now, of course, these TV documentaries are still being made, and that's fair enough, but it seems like that many young people are just, working with the medium, putting fictional elements, reconstructing, playing with the medium, which I think is very good. And also, as you can see here, we were talking about the Croatian film. You also get closer to some taboo subjects that you didn't make films about before. Or the other one that you were mentioning when we talked last time, the Phnom Penh Lullaby, is very interesting. A Polish director making a film about a couple in Phnom Penh where the man is from Israel and the woman is from Cambodia. Complicated story, and it's built like it was a fiction, but it's 100% documentary. I mean, the distribution has always been the problem for documentaries. I remember when I was working in the Danish Film Board and everything was on 16mm film, and people said, but where can we see them? And well, very few people had a projector at home. Today everybody can watch a documentary that you can just download, or they can have a DVD. So the technical development is there for the distribution, for an efficient distribution. On the other hand, it's obvious, as you say, that public television is in a crisis. They try to compete with commercial television, which means that the documentaries are, if they are shown, it will be late, or if they are shown, it's normally acquisition. It's not co-production, or they're not really investing, apart from some channels and some countries. So it is festivals, as you say, and the VOD, I think it will come. I think it will come, and it will come because the big tele companies, they are interested. And I think that they also, very simple, they can make some niches for documentaries, so people also can watch documentaries. I know from my own country that the telecompany in Denmark, they have, when you subscribe to television, then you also have the possibilities of watching films. And they have a section for documentaries. It's not very big, but it's coming. It's clear that DVD is going away. You can just see when we have the workshop here, everybody, I mean, they don't come with DVD. They have everything on the computer. So they download, etc. And this is, of course, the question how to solve that. And I know it because I was just talking to a young Romanian director. I had recommended in the last session, I had recommended her to watch some films by a Greek director because they are very much alike. And then she says, well, I couldn't find them on the internet. And so it's not everything that's there. And then she has to write to the director and get them. So, you know, it's no, but on the other hand, again, there are many also again online websites. Many production companies, they have a website and they are offering, you can download the film, or you can, I mean, so you go directly to those who have made the films. And that many are doing that. So I think it's easier than before, but still, I mean, it depends on who is running it. Of course, we can fear that it will be the big multinationals who are running it, and then it will be a narrow selection, and very commercial selection. On the other hand, if it is smaller companies who can do it, it's good. I mean, you can. If we talk about what is on the net, I mean, YouTube, you can discuss it, but you can see a lot of films there, also classics, which have been put in there. And I think also with the technical development, Vimeo, for instance, I think is excellent, good quality also. Why don't they make something also? I mean, it should be possible. So I think we should. I think we should be optimistic about it. But of course, controlling or trying to control that it's not going into the big hands, only the big hands. Many broadcasters have fewer slots for creative documentaries, and you can see that, for instance, at ITFA forum or other fora around the world. That when you look at the people sitting around the table, you can see there's not a lot of money here. And that's right. So many people are talking about, also in connection with the technical development, that we are in a transition period, because who's going to pay? And that's where I hope that there is hopefully some money involved in VOD or other kind of fundings. What I think is important is that there are many funds being created, mostly in America. The Tribeca Fund, also in England, the BritDoc, which is open for other people. The media program is essential. I think that if the media program stopped supporting documentaries and documentary events, everything would collapse in terms of international cooperation. Because I think that this international cooperation, which started when the media program started actually, and it started in 1990, and then the fora and so on, they came 4 or 5 years later. If that created an international environment, which is very, very nice, I think. Because, I mean, documentaries is an international art form. And if you can work like we saw yesterday with Peter Lom talking about, he's Canadian / Czech, he lives in Amsterdam, he is producing with a Norwegian. I mean, this is how it should be. And they have, the chemistry is there. And I think also I have many examples of for instance, Danish editors who are working for people in other countries, which is I think good, because you get fresh eyes, and if two countries are co-producing, then the film will be shown in two countries. We shouldn't forget the audience, of course. I think most of the big works have been pitched one way or the other, in public pitching or in more private pitching. I mean, this is.
Can you give us some titles which you can?
I think that for me the most important film in the last year or two is Victor Kosakowski's film, Vivan las Antipodas, which is a masterpiece, and he pitched it in Amsterdam. And if he had not done that, he would never have been able to make it. I mean, these kind of even the big names are pitching. I mean, also some of the American, like the old boys like Albert Maysles and so on, have also been sitting there pitching their projects.
In the forum?
In the forum, yeah. So I think it's good. You can discuss. And personally, even if I've been so much involved, I mean, it's basically, it's stupid. Basically, pitching is stupid because you cannot present your film in detail with nuances in these 7 minutes and with a teaser. I mean, this is not the way to do it. But having said so, I think it's as a practical arrangement that you bring people who are looking for documentaries and people who are making documentaries, you bring them together in one place. They get, if you're pitching, you get your 15 minutes of presentation, and then you can go afterwards to more civilized talks. That's my philosophy around it. I always say that pitching, when you are pitching, you should look upon it like an invitation. Let's talk more about it. Then some people say that pitching has been spoiling the freedom of expression. I don't think so. I think the television formatting of 52 minutes and has to be done in this and this way, it is there anyway. It's not the fault of pitching that that we have these formats. And I think that, as I mentioned Kosakowski, and I could mention many others, that people around the table, they respect that here is an artist who is speaking, and we should have that kind of films as well. I know that, for instance, in some countries they also, when they are commissioning films, they are asking, on a national level, they are asking the filmmakers, producers to come and pitch in public. We people in Denmark, together with the Dutch people, who said, okay, let's make this forum. And then it was implemented, and it has basically been like that for all these years. And now there are many other smaller pitching forums. What I think about these pitching forums, and also a workshop like we are doing now with the Black See, where they are also going not to publicly, but they are going to pitch in Amsterdam. What I think is important is, in these workshops, is the development process. That we sit down, like I've been doing today, with filmmakers, and they pitch their project. It's a piece of communication. They have to know what they're talking about. So they present their project, we watch some material, we discuss it, we give advice. I think this is the most important, the development process of, and there I can see something where where the pitching sessions and the development process connected to that has been very good for many young filmmakers. And I like that because it's also a sign of openness, that you are not afraid to talk about your film in front of other people. 20 years ago, when I started in the Danish Film Board, nobody would do that. They say, this is my film.
It's very tricky to pitch something which you don't know what will be like. I mean, I feel a contradiction, because pitching was made for fiction. It was made for films which are totally predictable and controllable productions. And usually in good documentaries, I mean, the predictable documentaries are not good. I mean, if you know now that you will do a film about that, that is a publication, you can write a book about it. Yeah. You should make a film. Film is a good documentary, has to discover the subject or anything surrounding us without knowing where the camera and the subject will lead. I mean, in terms of extreme, and the good documentaries which I'm thinking about, was produced in that way, not in a controlled way, which was presented before and guaranteed for those who invested money in it, and for measurable target and audience and rating. But for the others, I mean, okay, Viktor Kosakowski is given money because he is the artist and he will do for, even if he is pitching something bullshit or whatever, everybody will say, okay, for his name, we are going to pay. But he, as any artist in the world, can make a failure. I mean, not each of his films, not every film of him is a great masterpiece. Tische, I wouldn't say it's a great realization. I mean, this is something which was happened actually so far as terms of production and organization of giving funds. And there are some problems which I thought it's important to mention. And also the role of commissioning editors who became the big gods who are working around, and who are, most of them, very, very uneducated in terms of cinema, in terms of many things, which is, again, a big contradiction, I think, for creating the right way to flourish this fantastic art, which is cinema, documentary cinema.
Some people will agree with you, and some people should not pitch. I mean, if they don't like it, and if they're not able to say what they want to do, of course.
This is for business more, and for
no, I don't think so.
For superstars.
I would say I've been selecting projects for 20 years, hundreds, thousand maybe, and I have always taken those which have an artistic element, always, and not go. I've never gone for the market, and always been looking at who are the talents, who would profit from being in a pitching session. And then I think we should just de-dramatize it. Of course there are stupid commissioning editors, of course. I mean, and of course it's, as I said before, it is not possible to do your project the best favor in 7 minutes. But it's a practical tool, and it has created an international environment. And it has been very good for many young filmmakers that they have been to these sessions, training sessions, and know other people and know the history of documentaries, etc. So I think this is, this is the good thing about it. But of course there are You can, as you do, I mean, you can say some negative things about it as well. But I think that the good commissioning editors or film fund people, of course they know that if you are making an observational documentary about something, you cannot say precisely what will come out of it, of course. I mean, it's about being professional. And I can say many critical things about IDFA because, I mean, when they are so big, they also take films which I think, okay, why is this film here? On the other hand, I mean, it's fantastic to see so many so-called ordinary people queuing to go in and see some documentaries. But I think I think I'm going, the next stop for me is Leipzig. I like it a lot. I have a big respect for what Claes Danielsen as a director has achieved. I've known him since he was a little boy, I would say.
And in what terms do you think it's a good festival? I mean, IDFA we know in many terms.
High quality. Of selection, high quality of selection, yes, and interesting retrospectives. They are not, and now also a focus on German documentaries. They have a German competition. They have also something which I like a lot, which is young cinema, young directors, where they are awarding beginners, I would say, first-timers. They have a market, they have pitching sessions in another way. I mean, they're trying to find another. They call it co-production meetings. So I think that's a nice one. And then, I mean, there are so many festivals now. The one in Lisbon, I respected a lot. I've been there. I think they are really good program, and they are orientated in another way geographically. I have always liked Cinéma du Réel in Paris. I think that Nyon is also a good one. I haven't been there for many years, but I can see on the program. It's very director-orientated, but they also have pitching sessions. And then, you know, the one that I am involved in Belgrade, which is called Magnificent Seven. It's only 7 films. We pick 7 films, and we have the director must come. We have longer Q&A. I would say a very professional Q&A. We have the day after the director meeting young film people in a masterclass. So that's a big event on my calendar, also because they have in the big hall in Belgrade Sava Center 1,500 people sitting watching a documentary. And you know what their budget is? 10,000 euro. And so it's amazing, and I'm very proud that I've been part of this building of this small festival, small in numbers of films, but big in numbers of audience. And what has happened there is also that because of this festival, other festivals have come. Other documentary festivals. They have now something called Free Zone. They have something called Bell Docs. You probably have heard about it. So it's growing. So they have succeeded in building, let's say, a documentary audience, which really expect us to find great films. And it's not always that there are 7 magnificent films in one year, you know that. There are many good films, but magnificent films.
What about the film? When did you hear about it? And
I have heard about it for many years, actually, because I remember that when I was in the Danish Film Board, let's see, 20 years back. What is that?
No, it
92, I was still there. I was still there, yeah. I was there until 95 in the Danish Film Board, and I think I heard about it there, that you were asking us to film films. I don't know if we did it. And then, of course, in EDN, I have seen what you are doing. I have a good impression. Yeah, well, I've only been here for 2 days, so I can't really see, but I feel good.
Okay.
This is important. I feel good.